Good afternoon, CEO Johnson. Are we ready to go with the staff? I don't see Mr. Hewlett on today.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's breaking up a little bit, but try that again.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Hewlett is not joining us. We have our communications coordinator is doing the tech for this meeting, so Sheila's on the call.
Okay, thank you. And I guess all staff that are required are here now then?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we're ready.
Okay, thank you, CEO Johnson. All right, and I will, it is 1:01, so I'll call the meeting to order. And good afternoon and welcome. I'm Deputy Mayor Tom Hutchison, and I'm Chair of the Adjustment meeting. Item number 1, we'll call the meeting to order. It is 1:01 today. This is the June the 6th, 2022 Committee of Adjustment meeting. And we do have a quorum as indicated by the committee members login. For this meeting, we're using both audio and video. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the Westgrade website at www.westgrade.com. The technology for this meeting is being managed by the Westgrade staff. Please refrain from clicking buttons throughout the meeting unless prompted. And before we continue, I'm going to ask our communications coordinator, Ms. Ferguson, to provide an overview of some of the other key points for the meeting. Ms. Ferguson, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Chair Hutchinson. Before I begin, if you could get disconnected, you can dial in at 1-647-558-0588 and enter the meeting ID for this meeting, which is 871-5038-0700. It should be noted for members of the public that this meeting is being hosted on Zoom meeting software, but is also being live streamed on YouTube. Public participation and comments are not monitored on YouTube and must be done through the Zoom meeting software. Both members of staff and council have been briefed on the various features of the Zoom meeting software. Members of council and staff will be raising their hands physically on camera to speak. For members of the public, if you require any technical assistance throughout the duration of the meeting, please send a chat message to myself, Sheila Ferguson, Communications Coordinator, and I will attempt to assist you.
Thank you, Ms. Ferguson. That takes us to item number 2, the purpose of the meeting. And I will be looking for Clerk Sharback to provide her comments, please. Clerk Sharback?
Thank you, Chair. The purpose of this meeting is to allow the presentation of an application for a minor variance and an application for consent to sever, and to allow interested members of the public the opportunity to ask questions or offer comments with regard to the applications. A public registry for each application is available by email to sferguson@westgrade.com. And if any member of the public would like to be notified in writing of the decision on this application, they are to provide their name and mailing address for the corresponding registry. This will also entitle one to be advised of a possible Ontario Land Tribunal hearing in the event the decision on the application is appealed. Thank you, Chair Hutchinson.
Thank you, Clerk Sharback. Item number 3 on today's agenda is disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. And members of the committee, is there anything to declare at this time? Seeing none, if one should arise during any point of the meeting, you can bring it up at that time as well. So seeing none, I'm going to move on to item number 4, and that's the approval of the minutes. 4.1. Excuse me, folks, if we could just get you to mute yourselves. We're getting some feedback here. Thank you very much. I apologize. We are on 4.1, and that is the approval of the minutes from the May 16th, 2022 Committee of Adjustment meeting. Clerk Sharback, could you read the recommendation, please?
Through you, Chair Hutchinson, the recommendation is that Committee of Adjustment approves the minutes of May 16th, 2022 as circulated.
Thank you, Clerk Sharback. Could I get a mover, please? And I do see Member Hergert as the mover, followed by Member Townsend as the seconder. Comments or questions on the minutes? Seeing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor, if you could just show your hand, please. I see all 5 members are in favor. There is none opposed, and that motion is carried. Thank you. Okay, we'll go on to item number 5 on our today's agenda. That's minor variance application number A08 2022-133 Marshall Heights, Township of Glen Elg. 5.1, application number A08 2022 Becky Welts and Chad Welts. 5.2 will be Planner Spencer's report. And if I could get Planner Spencer to read the recommendation for A08 2022, including any written comments received under 5.3, and that would include 5.3.1 Enbridge Gas, Inc., 5.3.2 Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, and any other comments that may have come in just recently. Thank you. Planner Spencer.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. The subject lands are municipally identified as 133 Marshall Heights, south of the town of Durham. The property is legally identified as Lot 34, Plan 16M29, in the geographic township of Glen Elg. The purpose of the application is to vary the provisions of sections 6.1.42 and 6.1.3 to permit a total floor area of 118 square meters, whereas 92.9 square meters is permitted, and a total height of 5.48 meters, whereas 5.0 meters is permitted, the effect of which will permit the construction of an accessory structure. A single detached dwelling unit is also proposed for the subject lands. Comments have been provided from the County of Grey Planning and Development Department, who have no concerns with respect to the application. The Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority has also reviewed the application and has no concerns with respect to the application. Written comments are included and have been received from Enbridge Gas. In addition, written comments have been provided from the Saugeen Ojibwe Nation, neither of which has identified any concerns with respect to the application. No further verbal comments have been provided in concern or in support of the application at this time. I'm happy to clarify as you require further. Thank you.
Thank you, Planner Spencer, for your detailed report. And we will move on now to 5.4, and that's verbal comments. There's two parts to it. 5.4.1 will be the committee members, and then that will be followed by anybody in the public that would like to speak to it. So, committee members, this is your opportunity to speak. Speak towards the application, or if you have any comments or questions. And I do see Member Hutchinson's hand up, so go ahead, Member Hutchinson.
Yeah, so nothing in opposition. Just point of clarification. I'm just curious with the diagrams, the photos that are in our package. A couple of them point to the lot. I believe the lot is 133 on the south side of Marshall Heights Road, but a couple of them show the property on the north side. So I'm just curious why that is, unless the maps have been reoriented. Like I presume they're facing north. But it looks like at one point, like that one that the first diagram shows the first diagram shows the correct, second diagram shows it on the north side of the road. So I'm curious why there's a discrepancy there.
Planner Spencer.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, the sketches that you're referring to have been orientated differently. So unfortunately for the second one that I see, but it is on the south side of Marshall Heights.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple of them showing on the north side and a couple of them showing on the south side, but based on the road, it looks like, yeah, it's definitely on the south side and an empty lot. The one that is circling is there is a house on that one. So just wanted to make that clear. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, anything further, Member Hutchinson? Yeah, your hand's still up, your virtual hand, that is. Any other comments or questions from the committee members? Okay, seeing none then, we are going to move forward in the agenda. We're going to go to 5.4.2. This is public comments. And there's two parts to this portion, or to this part of the meeting. One is to speak in favor of the application, and the other one is to speak opposed to it. So we're going to go with the first speakers for anybody who would like to speak in favor of this. And I'm going to ask Ms. Ferguson if you could provide an overview to the public on how they could participate, and also if you could let us know if you have received any correspondence, or if there's anybody who would like to speak to it. Ms. Ferguson.
Through you, Chair Hutchinson, for members of the public wishing to speak, you can do so in one of two ways. If you've joined us over the phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand, and I can unmute you at the chair's request. Alternatively, you can press *9 again to lower your hand. If you have joined us using the online meeting software and are wishing to speak, please send a chat message to myself, Sheila Ferguson, Communications Coordinator, and I can unmute you at the chair's request. Or alternatively, you can send your question and I can read it on your behalf. And at this time, Chair, I am not seeing any members of the public wishing to speak.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Ferguson. I too don't see any chat messages or any hands on the dash, so that would be to speak in favor or opposed to this application. Okay. Seeing none, then we are going to move on to 5.5, and that's, oh, I do see Member Robinson. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good afternoon, everyone. I will move the following motion that the Committee of Adjustment does hereby approve minor variance application number A08.2022, Becky Welts and Chad Welts, for the reasons as set out in the planner's report. Thank you.
Yeah, I just need 1 second here, please. Had to get caught up. Okay, thank you, Member Robinson. I was going to call to the clerk to read the recommendation, but is everybody clear on the recommendation that was brought forward by Member Robinson now? And if so, I'd be looking for a seconder as well. And I do see Member Hergert's hand up. You're seconding that motion? Recommendation, I apologize. Is everybody clear on the recommendation then, or would you like the clerk to read it? Seeing no hands raised then, we're all clear on that. I'm going to call to question all those in favor. If you could raise your hand, please. See all 5 members are in favor. There's none opposed. That motion is carried. And that takes us to 5.6, next steps. And I will go to Clerk Scharbeck for that, please.
Through you, Chair Hutchinson. The next steps is to notify, planning staff will provide notice to the applicant that the committee has approved the application. There is a 20-day appeal period. Provided no appeals are received, the applicant will be advised that they may pursue their building permits. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Scharbeck.
I have a point of order, please.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Number 5.2 lists a recommendation to receive Planner Spencer's report. Would we vote on that?
I'm going to go to the clerk for this, but the recommendation should be all included in that whole report. Let me just go back to my reading the recommendation. Clerk Scharbeck, you could make a comment on that until I find those notes, please.
Sure. There is a recommendation on the agenda to receive the report. We're past that point in the agenda, and it's fine if the committee moves and seconds a resolution to receive Planner Spencer's report now, if you wish. It's entirely up to the committee.
Okay, I thought what we were going to be doing was just combining doing the recommendation of receiving and into that portion of it is what I thought that's how we were going to be moving this forward. And I would look for Clerk Scharbeck to comment, please.
Through you, Chair Hutchinson. The planner's report is obviously received by the committee. It's on the agenda, and it's noted in the decision that the decision includes all for the reasons set out in the planner's report. So it's a formality to receive the report as well as a separate resolution. Again, it's up to the committee if you want to make that resolution or move it.
Okay, thanks, Clerk Scharbeck. Member Herger, would you like to make that motion then? If we'll go ahead. So you're going to move that then, the recommendation that you read?
I will move that we receive Planner Spencer's report.
Okay, thank you. And I'll be looking for a seconder on that then. Member Hutchison, are you seconding that? Comments or questions then from the committee? Seeing none, all those in favor, if you just raise your hand, please. All 5 members are in favor. None opposed. That motion's carried for that recommendation. Okay, and I may have missed that one because I just had a different, I was looking at things a little different from my template, but I apologize, and I'll double check those in the future. Item number 6 is consent to sever application number B06-2022, part lot 26, concession 3, EGR, Township of Glenelg. 6.1 is the application number B06-2022, Heather Gates and Daniel Gates, and Shady Grove Maple Inc. And we're going to move on to 6.2, and that is Planner Spencer's report, and it's consent to sever application B06-2022. I could get Planner Spencer to please read her recommendation report on that, and if you could include any comments, written comments received under 6.3, and I do show 6.3.1 is Enbridge Gas Inc., 6.3.2 is Hydro One, and any other comments that may have come in. Planner Spencer, please.
Thank you, and through you, Mr. Chair. The recommendation is that the committee receive Planner Spencer's report and approve application B06-2022 GOATS, subject to the following conditions: the payment of any outstanding municipal taxes, the payment of an entrance permit application fee, receipt of an entrance permit to the retained parcel, payment of the zoning bylaw amendment application fee, approval of a zoning bylaw amendment to implement the recommendations of the environmental impact study, and payment of the $500 parkland dedication fee for the newly created lot. The property does not currently have a municipal identified address, but is legally identified as part lot 26, concession 3, east of the Garifraxa Road in the geographic township of Glenelg. The purpose of the application is to sever one 20.7 hectare parcel for the purposes of a lot addition and retain one 20.7 hectare rural parcel, the effect of which will leave a retained parcel of approximately 20.7 hectares and a newly enlarged parcel approximately 31.2 hectares in size. A supportive environmental impact study was provided with the application. Comments have been provided from the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, from Enbridge Gas and Hydro One, all of which are in support of the application. No written or verbal comments in support or opposition to the application have been received at this time. Thank you, and I'm happy to clarify further.
Thank you, Planner Spencer. And that takes us to 6.4 verbal comments, and under 6.4.1 committee member comments, and this is your time to ask any questions or insert any questions or comments, again, comments or questions you may have on this application. Committee members. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to go to 6.4.2. And again, there's 2 parts to this application or the discussion on this, and the first one's to speak in favor, followed by anybody that would like to speak opposed. And I'm going to ask Ms. Ferguson to just provide an overview on how members of the public can participate in this meeting. Ms. Ferguson, please.
For members of the public wishing to speak, you can do so in one of 2 ways. If you've joined us over the phone, you can press *9 to raise your hand, and I can unmute you at the chair's request. Alternatively, you can press *9 again to lower your hand. If you've joined us using the online meeting software and are wishing to speak, please send a chat message to myself, Sheila Ferguson, Communications Coordinator, and I can unmute you. Or alternatively, you can send your question or comment and I can read it on your behalf. And at this time, Chair, I am not seeing any members of the public wishing to speak.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Ferguson. I just did a quick check on my chat. I see nothing, and I see no hands raised from members of the public. So that will move us on to 6.5, which is the decision by the committee. And what direction would the committee like to take with this? Member Townsend?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move that the Committee of Adjustment does hereby receive Planner Spencer's report and approve consent to sever application number B06-2022, Heather Goats and Daniel Goats and Shady Grove Maple Inc. for the reasons and following conditions as set out in the planner's report.
Can you get a seconder, please? Member Hutchinson, I see your hand up. You'll be seconding that. Comments or questions from the committee members? Seeing none, are we all clear on the recommendation that we have before us? Okay, call to question. All those in favor, if you could just raise your hand, please. See, all 5 members are in favor, none opposed. That motion is carried. That will take us to 6.6, and that's next steps, and I'm going to ask Clerk Sherbeck to advise the public on that, please.
Through you, Chair Hutchinson. Following this provisional approval of the application, staff will notify the applicant of the decision. There is a 20-day appeal period. Provided no appeals are received, the applicant will have been notified. They have 12 months from the date of the decision today to satisfy all conditions, provide draft deeds and a survey for approval by the municipality, and have those documents registered by their lawyer at the Land Registry Office. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Sherbeck. Okay, item number 7 on today's agenda is next meeting. The next meeting I have scheduled is June 20th, 2022 at 1 p.m. and I am going to confirm that with Clerk Sherbeck, please.
To you, Chair, that's what I have as well.
Thank you. And moving right along, we are at the item number 8, and that will be adjournment. I'll be looking for a mover and a seconder to adjourn the meeting, please. I do see Member Robinson moving that, and Member Hergert as the seconder. Clerk Sherbeck, could you read the recommendation, please?
To you, Chair Hutchinson, the motion moved by Member Robinson and seconded by Member Hergert is that Committee of Adjustment hereby adjourns this meeting at 1:22 p.m.
Thank you, Clerk Sherbeck. Okay, all those in favor, if you could just raise your hand, please. See, all 5 members are in favor, none opposed. Motion is carried. We are adjourned. And thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful afternoon.